Lastly, we will briefly discuss some additional topics related to muscle physiology. The first topic is something called treppe. This is also known as the staircase effect. Treppe occurs when the muscle is stimulated to contract immediately after the relaxation phase has ended. The second stimulus increases the force of contraction over the first. This increase in the force of contraction is due to increases in calcium availability in the sarcoplasm and heat that is generated by contracting muscles. This heat will help the muscle enzymes work better. For example, the myosin heads will be able to break down ATP at a faster rate. Muscle tone is the tension produced by muscles for extended periods and occurs because some motor units within the muscles are active even when the whole muscle is not contracting. Examples of muscle tone are the muscles that keep your back and legs straight, and the muscles that keep your head upright, and the muscles that keep your abdomen flat. If you strength train to increase muscle mass, there will also be an increase in muscle tone even at rest. Muscle tone burns calories, so if you have more muscle and more muscle tone, you're going to burn more calories at rest than you might otherwise. There are two types of basic contraction that occur in muscle tissue. Isotonic contraction is when the muscle develops enough tension to overcome the resistance, shortens, and an object will be moved. Isometric contraction is when the muscle cell develops tension, but it's not enough to overcome the resistance. The muscle does not shorten. Isometric means the same size, which refers to the muscle not shortening as it contracts. Muscle fatigue is caused by many things, but the main things that contribute to muscle fatigue include a lack of oxygen, depletion of ATP stores, accumulation of lactic acid in the tissues, which can affect pH, and ionic imbalances. These are all physiological events that contribute to muscle fatigue. As muscle fatigue sets in, the muscle will lose efficiency in contracting. There are several different types of muscle fibers or muscle cells that make up individual muscle tissues. They are categorized as slow fibers, intermediate fibers, or fast fibers. Let's concentrate on slow fibers and fast fibers. Don't worry so much about the intermediate ones. There are alternate names for these types of fibers which are included at the bottom of the table. Slow twitch fibers tend to have a prolonged time to peak tension. Their contraction speeds tend to be slow. They have a high resistance to fatigue. They have a nice red color because they have a high myoglobin content. Myoglobin is very much like hemoglobin in red blood cells. In muscle cells, myoglobin provides additional oxygen to the cells. Slow twitch fibers have a very dense capillary supply, which is also why they are very red. These fibers also have a lot of mitochondria because they need a lot of energy. Slow fibers are for high endurance because they contract for extended periods of time. Slow fibers are common in the muscles that help maintain posture, such as the deep muscles in the back. Fast fibers, on the other hand, have a very rapid time to peak tension and a very fast contraction speed. They are not very red in color and appear whiter. They have very low myoglobin content because they don't have the demand for oxygen as the slow fibers do. These fibers contain very few mitochondria and are ideal for rapid movements over short periods of time. Most of the muscle fibers in the body are full of fast fibers. Oxygen debt is eliminated through excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. This is one of the reasons why breathing rates stay elevated after exercise. When you're done exercising, your skeletal muscles will need to replenish their ATP stores. They need to get rid of lactic acid that accumulates during skeletal muscle contraction by converting it to glycogen. Creatinine needs to be converted back to creatine phosphate. All of these require oxygen. The increased breathing that occurs after exercise helps to replenish oxygen and helps the muscle cells return to homeostasis. Creatine phosphate can be used in muscle tissue to help with ATP generation. It does this through a chemical reaction where the phosphate from creatine phosphate is added to ADP to make ATP. Muscle hypertrophy refers to muscle cell enlargement. Muscle cell enlargement is in response to repeated stimulation. For example, if you are strength training and lifting weights, your muscle cells will enlarge. It's important to understand that strength training is not increasing the number of muscle cells, but rather increasing the size of the muscle cells you have. Muscle atrophy, on the other hand, is when muscle cells reduce in size when they are not stimulated to contract over extended periods of time. For example, if you are strength training and you get injured and you must take a break for a while, your muscles will atrophy because they are not being used as much. This can also happen if you've ever broken a bone and had a cast put on. Over the 6 or 8 weeks that your leg or arm is casted, the muscles are not working and muscle atrophy will occur. Just like with atrophy, you are not losing muscle cells. The muscle cells you have are just getting smaller. This table here provides a summary of the differences between skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscle. Many of the things on this table were looked at the last chapter. You are not required to memorize the entire table, just have a good idea of the different types of muscle tissue. Delayed onset muscle soreness occurs when you use muscles you haven't used in a while. You may have experienced this if you haven't exercised for a while and you decide you're going to hit the gym and the next day you're feeling kind of sore. There are many things that can contribute to the onset of muscle soreness. Small tears in the muscle tissue release substances that will stimulate pain receptors. There can be muscle spasms that cause pain, or there can be tears in the connective tissue and tendons of the affected muscle, which can also cause pain. This ends the chapter. Use the student learning objectives to create a study guide as you prepare for the next exam.